On September 11, 2001, I was driving my car, and a cop pulled me over. So he asked me where I'm from. So I said, why? This is the first time that a cop stopped me and asked me where I'm from before I talk. Like usually they ask, but after you talk by the accent, they're interested to know where you're from. He was like angry, he wants to know where I'm from. Or the reason to stop me is just to ask me where I'm from. So I said, you know, why you stop me? He said, I stopped you for red light. Give me your license. I gave him the license. He went to his car. 2 or 3 minutes later, he comes back and he says, where are you from? I said, I'm from Israel. He said, Arabic or Jewish? I said, well, make it different. He said, it's a big difference. I said, I'm Arabic. He said, you're under arrest.
Okay. All right. My name is Seram Jafar, and I came from Pakistan in 1971. I saw a Burger King employee. They were standing sort of lined up outside the Burger King, and it wasn't busy at all. And they were pointing at me and talking with each other. It wasn't long before a police car arrived, and then another one, and they sort of surrounded my car and they came out. And the first question they asked me, where was I born? And I immediately said, Pakistan. And they says, this car has been reported stolen. And at that moment, I pulled out my contract and showed them. I said, I rented this car, and I am I'm right now deciding to go and extend it or return it. And at that point, they says, well, you are under arrest, and they immediately arrested me. When I got inside, immediately FBI came in and they sat down and they says, do you know there's a big incident happened in New York City, and so we are questioning everybody here. And I got so surprised when I saw FBI because I couldn't just understand what's going on one after the other. Then I said, I would like to have an attorney present. If you're going to ask me a question, I don't know what kind of question you want to ask me. The FBI says, we are running around very busy. We are tired. We haven't got a chance to sleep or eat. So we like to ask you some question. And I insisted on having an attorney. And with that, they left. I was immediately taken to a holding cell in Buffalo, which is about 25 miles from that little village of Depew. This person who was either a psychologist, somebody told me he's a psychologist as well as a doctor, and he comes in from University of New York in Buffalo, and he would bring some students with him, and they would accompany him, and he would come to me and he would stare in my eyes and he said, do you know how to fly? And those type of things.
Could you pretend to be him and ask those questions?
Yeah, he would just walk in, looking at me and walking. And then he would stand like this, keep looking at me, and then he would ask, do you know how to fly an aeroplane? And he'd keep on looking into my eyes.
What else? What other questions?
Are you suicidal? why you don't eat, why you don't drink water. I was so confused about myself, why I'm here. I don't even know the answer of these questions the way he was putting to me. Out of 37 or 38 days, about a month I was in the solitary confinement, and it was lit up 24 hours a day. Sometime I would just go to the wash basin and take some water and just put it on my face, because I'm always kind of, without water I was all dried, and that make me a little comfortable.
Good afternoon. As I've discussed previously, the Department of Justice is now focused on two important priorities. First, finding those responsible for the horrific acts of September the 11th. Second, and more importantly, making sure that we prevent any further terrorist activity. The Department of Justice is waging a deliberate campaign of arrest and detention to protect American lives. We're removing suspected terrorists who violate the law from our streets to prevent further terrorist attack. We believe we have al-Qaeda membership in custody, and we will use every constitutional tool to keep suspected terrorists locked up.
On November 6 of 2001, I was visited at my job site on the 59th Street Bridge where I used to work by two federal agents. And they wanted to talk to me as they told me at the time, and I said, no, I don't like to talk with anybody without the presence of my lawyer, where they said, okay, we only have a couple of questions. If you answer them, that would be, we promise you that would be the end of it. And when they started with their questions, the first question was that I threatened somebody with a gun. And after...
Where did they get that from?
They did not tell me where they got it from. They said they received a report, and they told me that they cannot reveal, it is anonymous. They started to ask me about my status. And I told them about my status because things seemed to be serious at the time, the way they were talking. And I told them I'm on an H-1 visa, and I've been working under that visa for so long, and now I have a pending application that was submitted to the Immigration and Naturalization Service in Vermont. And you can check with the Vermont office on the status of that application. It's a pending application. And that's where I stand at the present time. And that's when they insisted to handcuff me and take me handcuffed in front of my coworkers and took me downtown Manhattan to the federal building.
And then what kind of questions did they ask you once they got you down to Federal Plaza?
They asked me all kinds of questions about me, my family, my name, my kids, my father, my mother, all kinds of questions. And of course, they asked me about my status and how long I've been working with this company, what am I doing, and things of that nature. And they came down to start asking me questions, like political questions, like me being a Palestinian, how do I feel about Israel and the United States?
What did you say?
I told them, I'll tell you how I feel about the United States, since I live here, and you need to know that. But it's not, it's nobody's business to know how I feel about Israel, because that doesn't have anything to do with my detention. The whole period that I was in jail, they did not charge me with anything. I mean, what can they charge me with? I mean, they know my whole history. I didn't come through the Mexican borders as an illegal immigrant. I went to school in the United States. I could have obtained my citizenships 15, 20 years ago or even longer, had I chosen what everybody else chose by marrying an American girl and then just taking whatever he wants from her and throwing her like millions of people did. But I chose not to do that. I chose to go the right way about it.
How do you feel now after going through this experience?
About my feeling, you mean?
Yeah, just about living as a Muslim in America now.
I don't know exactly what to say.
As far as her feeling about being here, and she's terrified. She's terrified this thing is going to happen to us again, happen to innocent civilians. You know, innocent people who have nothing to do with this act, with this tragedy, this is the worst act that ever happened.
That's why we might go back to our country for
You know,
good.
as far as this is a crime against humanity, what happened. But we as innocent people, being Muslims, what do we have to do with that? I still have faith in the American judicial system, but this does not prevent what happened to happen again unless a major change takes place.
Come here, Leah. Oh, Perse, sit down with you.
Are you excited for the break fast?
Not that much.
Not that much.
I do, because I smoke. Unfortunately, I smoke. You know, that's one of the things. What's one of the moment I look forward for.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
No, please. It's fine.
They took my son, handcuffed him right in front of my eyes. I mean, like.
I've never been
for
handcuffed
what?
in my life. I mean,
For
I didn't know
what?
what they're like. We're gonna handcuff you.
This
So
is something we had
I
to
was
live,
gonna
you
get
know.
my hands in the front. They're like, no, we have to handcuff you. And when they handcuffed me, they took me out, and I was just thinking to myself, what in the world have I gotten myself into? When they took me over to get my fingerprints done, the same guy followed me, and he was asking me whether, you know, I'm a religious person, whether my dad is religious, do I go to a mosque? And you know, I just answered him, and I told him, yeah, you know, occasionally I do go, occasionally I do pray. And he told me, how religious are you? I'm like, listen, I don't know what you're trying to, you know, where are you trying to lead this to, but, you know, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to imply? He's like, well, I just want to know if, you know, if you've seen certain activities going on in your mosque, certain people that might look
Or
a
if
little
your
fishy
dad
to
might
you.
know
Or if
anybody.
your dad might be, you know, he knows somebody that might,
Related to 9/11.
it's going to be more beneficial to you, because I'm not going to be the only one asking you these questions.
A drug lord coming out on 5,000 bond, you know, this person who's like so harmless, they're giving a bail for like 55,000, 50,000.
My bail was
His
15,000.
bail was 15,000. That was like, and we had already filed a motion to reduce the bail because it makes no sense. I mean, where is he gonna go? His case has been filed under his dad, you know.
The house is under
The house
my
is,
name.
he owns a house, and where the hell is he gonna go?
I have all the cars under my name. How far can I run? Why would I run to begin with? I mean, I haven't lied. All the information that they have, down to my social security, is the correct number.
Every single detail that he have given to them, I mean, it's the truth, and the judge saw that. I mean, we just can't thank enough to this country. I mean, we had achieved so much that we couldn't even dream of getting in our country. That's the truth, that's the fact, and I cannot lie or I cannot deny that. But, I mean, now that we have achieved so much, we are, you know, we have.
It doesn't seem like it's yours anymore in ways. I mean, we came here with nothing, and now, you know, little by little, we basically climbed the ladder, and in ways we have achieved things. And now all of a sudden, it's like just taken from you. Even after I came out, it doesn't feel like whatever is mine anymore, because it could be taken from me at any time.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
fun. Just a seat. Perfect. Thank you.
He was arrested on August 29th. He was coming from Florida. He went to a cruise in Florida and Miami and some islands. When he came back August 29th, they arrested him, the INS. They told him he was supposed to travel He violated the INS law, the immigration law. He's there since the 29th for no reason.
The 29th
Of August. And
Can you make sure that you say my brother?
my brother, yeah, my brother, my lovely brother, I love him so much because we raised together. And we spent almost $10,000. Good.
Can you just tell us about the picture?
Yeah, that's my mom, and that's my brother, Jama.
If he be deported to Somalia, he will be killed. 100%, I'm sure of that. He's going to be killed. I think the reason they're holding my brother is because his last name is Arab, A-R-A-P, and he was born in Yemen. But he's Somalian citizen. He's not from Yemen. He born there, that's all. Most of my brothers, my other brother, and my other sisters, they were born in Yemen. And they're all they're all American citizens now, okay? I have like 3 sisters and 3 brothers. We're all citizens in this United States of America, except my brother, okay? And I don't think it's fair what the justice is doing to my brother.
Robert Kennedy's Justice Department, it is said, would arrest mobsters for spitting on the sidewalk if it would help in the battle against organized crime. It has been said that that was an effective policy, and I believe it was. It will be the policy of this Department of Justice to use the same aggressive arrest and detention tactics in the war against terror. Let the terrorists among us be warned. If you overstay your visas, even by 1 day, we will arrest you. If you violate a local law, we will hope that you will and work to make sure that you are put in jail and be kept in custody as long as possible.
How would you feel about taking your cap off? Is that possible?
Yeah?
Yeah, just because it's sort of shading your eyes.
No, it's all right.
Is that okay?
It's all right.
Do you want to wear your hat, or do you mind taking it off?
You know, I'm look ugly, you know.
Well, here, there's a mirror over there if you want to look.
So, if you'd just like to show us your name. Can you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself? You can put that down if you like. Just on the floor is
fine. I came to the United States 1995. And yes, straight away when I got here, you know, I looked for a job and I found it and I started working with the same people I was working to the day that day I got arrested. Originally, I'm from Palestine. And in 1995, I went to Jordan. From Jordan, I went to embassy in Jordan to ask for a visa. And they give it to me. And then, after 2 weeks, I decided to leave Jordan. And I left Jordan, coming to the United States. I came looking for freedom when I came to the United States. Looking for freedom, you know, looking for peace. That, you know, I wish that for everybody, it's not only me. And I try to support the family the way that's supposed to. Because over there, back home. I couldn't support no one, to like the one in Egypt. He studied doctor. If I left him over there, what are you gonna? You're gonna stay in the street or go into one of those groups over there. That's my land, Sure, I missed it. Sure, I missed it. Because my father over there, my mother died, before 1 year ago. I couldn't even go and see her. Because they stopped her, by the checking point. She have like a hard pressure, blood hard. So they took her to the hospital, and they're supposed to be like 15 minutes from the house to the hospital. She stayed 7 hours waiting by a checking point. When she got there to the hospital, she stayed like maybe 6, 7 hours, and she passed away.
Were you charged?
Charge over stay. That's what they charge me. I want to live here. I feel free here. This is the only time that I could talk. Over there, you couldn't talk. You couldn't say that, what's going on. Over here, you could say whatever, whatever comes to your mind, you could say free.
But has that changed? That feeling changed since your experience?
Yeah.
Do you feel less free?
I feel right now I'm free, To the court day, I don't know what's going on, but right now I feel free.
Este es el día de la boda. This December 5, 7 years.
¿De dónde es su esposo?
Algeria. Lo conocí en una tienda que yo tenía, una pequeña cafetería. Él iba todos los días a desayunar, a lonchar.
¿Cómo se comunicaron?
Primero, yo hablo un poquito y hablábamos poquitas cosas. No de nosotros, nada de nosotros. Hablábamos cosas regulares, poquito. Él fue aprendiendo español, entonces me hablaba poquito español, poquito inglés y así nos comunicábamos. Cuando lo arrestaron, un 18 de septiembre, fueron a mi casa, tocaron la puerta, mi hijo salió a abrir y estaba por todo el pasillo miles de FBI con armas y todo apuntándole a mi puerta, preguntando que si allí vivía un árabe. Estaba toda esa gente, unos con mi esposo, otros me cogieron a mí para un lado, a mi hijo por otro lado, mi papá por el otro lado, todos preguntando y mirando por donde quiera, buscando por donde quiera, porque decían que habían armas. Y él sabe que todos los derechos fueron quebrantados, pasaron por encima de sus derechos, porque no tenían por qué arrestarlo, no tenían nada para ir a la casa a arrestarlo, no tenían ese derecho, lo hicieron, él dijo está bien, porque él sabe sus derechos, y él les dijo, ustedes no tienen derecho de arrestarme, está bien, yo soy limpio, está bien, yo colaboro con todo, pero yo sé mis derechos. Y allí al principio no me dejaban verlo. Yo duré como 3 meses que no dejaban verlo de nadie, el abogado no se le aparecía, lo llamaba, nada, no sabíamos nada, totalmente nada de él. Hizo huelga de hambre, estaba en una área restringida para nada, nadie lo podía ver, en un cuarto metálico con solo un rotito donde le ponen la comida, nada más, y esposado de donde quiera, por aquí, por donde quiera, esposas. Cuando yo lo pude ver, no podía caminar, la barba así, el pelo así, así un palito, lo tenían que cargar de aquí porque él no se podía sostener. Cuando lo vi así como estaba, que totalmente diferente. Los ojos eran como un loco, como una persona cuando está ida de la mente. Horrible. Yo entré en pánico que yo no podía hablar. Y nada, yo me quedé así, yo no pude hablar. Yo lo vi, pero yo no pude, ni él tampoco. y él ponía sus manos así, así todo esposado, ponía sus manitos en el cristal para que yo le hablara, pero yo no podía, no pude. Me dieron unos minutos y yo no pude. Yo me quedé, y ellos me tuvieron que sacar.
Hello, how are you? William. Nice to meet you.
Shakria.
This microphone we wanted to put on you.
Yeah, honey. Your phone was ringing, and then who was it? And then nobody was talking.
So perhaps, do you want to ask your sons to start off on the bench and then maybe stand somewhere?
Hello? Papa! Papa! It's Papa!
Hello? Life, what's up? Nothing, what's up? Huh? In New York City. I am here for that one, there's a documentary thing, there's an iftar dinner. I told you about that, and also the 60 Minutes is tomorrow. Okay. Okay. You know what? I've been doing so many big things that I don't even know what big is anymore. Yeah, but I want to make sure that.
Take your time.
Okay.
If you want to sit down somewhere,
Okay.
no rush at all. Just
My father, my mom. That's one I don't know where he is. On the chair. No, it's not on the chair. This is the one who went over there, and here I am. And it's big. Push it down.
I was born in Pakistan. I've been in the United States for over 20 years now. I ran a successful business for 14 years. I have a PhD in criminal justice, and I'm raising a family. We lived what I think people call it as the American dream. We had a beautiful home in the suburban area. We had pretty much everything that is part of the American dream. There was nothing really that we did not have. God had granted us any blessing that you can imagine. But subsequent to September 11th, that changed. I got a call from my wife, Delilah, that there were about more than a dozen law enforcement officers at my house in Rockland County, and they had a search warrant to look for nuclear, chemical, and biological warfare at our home. I was asked to surrender to Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which I did, and subsequent to that, at my arraignment, it was said that I am the guy who basically has financed the terrorist attacks. They found paraphernalia at my house, which they deemed was pretty critical to the terrorist acts.
What was that?
My son's video games, flight simulation video games, foreign currency, which amounted to maybe about $200, religious books, which we used in the house to, educate ourselves, and a visiting ticket to World Trade Center a month prior to the attacks, which was a ticket stub that I had taken some visitors of my wife's friends They came from Ohio to visit New York City for the first time. They felt that this was pretty close to a damning evidence to hold me, not even in any detention center, but at Rikers Island. They charged me with grand larceny of my, of theft, basically, of my salary from the company. I was not interrogated by a single federal agent. I was accused of a lot of things. And within the first 24 hours, the FBI itself had rejected to interrogate me because they felt that there was no terroristic activity. But even with that on the plate, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office continued their so-called terrorist investigation. And that kept me in jail for over 105 days.
When I was in the courtroom, it was horrific because I'm hearing them say all these things about my husband. Hello, look at me. And I am the total, I was a born American. What terrorist would marry an American? What terrorist would have 3 children with an American? You know, I think they have their standards, whatever they are, they're their own little standards. And here you are, this is basically prejudice. And all our friends that my husband has helped and was so good to so many people disappeared because they were so scared of that word. Even family disappeared because they were so scared of that word. No matter if they knew him or not, they didn't want to be bothered with me or them or the kids or anything. And it was horrific. It was just horrific. And then hearing them say about a video game that my son played, that's why my husband's a terrorist. My husband goes to Pakistan with unknown people. The unknown people are us, are his wife and 3 kids.
We are living through our dark ages of our religion. You know, we just go back a little further back in the history, we'll find out what ignorance and illiteracy could cause in any religious fervor. We, you know, as human beings have experienced that before. We have experienced it in the form of the burning of the books and burning of the people at stake because of what they believed in. And I strongly believe that Muslims throughout the world are subjected to that. A population of 1.1 billion people, and the literacy rate is just a little below 40%. And the rest of the population, which is educated, still totally influenced by uneducated, one-dimensional religious leaders who profess and who harvest hatred, which there is none of that in Islam.
My name is Shakira Yagi. This is Ziad Yagi. We're from Albany. Let's see. I'm originally from Afghanistan. I've been here 20 years, and I lived in Albany ever since. And so has he.
No, you can try too.
But it's considered Albany. Stop. My husband was picked up and questioned, basically, and then he was just kept in jail in a special housing unit for 7 months, close to 7 months.
6 months.
And then he was, after being in jail for 10 months, he was deported secretly to Jordan, and without any notification to myself or to his 6 other brothers who are in the United States or his lawyer or anything like that. So.
You know about Tony yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I have to. The children haven't seen their father in 17 months, and I don't think that I have the right to keep them away from their father because it's their right to be with them. I'm not planning on staying there. I'm not planning on just getting up and leaving and forget about it it was yesterday's news, but I am planning on coming back and fighting it and trying to get back the life that we had. But in the meantime, my kids need their father. I have 3 boys. I can't wrestle with them. It hurts.
Does part of you just want to stay in Jordan?
This is my home. I mean, this is where my family is. Right now I have the choice. I have 2 choices to make, or I have 1 choice to make with 2 different options. One is divorce my husband and stay here and raise my children by myself. A husband that I love, a husband that I want to be with, a husband if I had 3 children. I didn't have them to raise them by myself. Or I can go over there and just live over there. This is, and give up my family over here. I have my whole family over here. And, we literally locked our doors in Afghanistan. My father locked the doors to our house and walked away from it to leave it for the Russians over there. Why do I have to do that again here, the land of the free? This is what people come here for, to be safe.
Will you talk about what the fast means? It's Ramadan, right to you?
The fast itself, you sacrifice, you give up your everyday pleasures so that you can understand how people who are less fortunate than you feel when they don't have a meal to eat, things like that. And it's spiritual because you become closer to God. Your prayers are answered. You give zakat, which is charity. You give charity to those less fortunate than you. I feel even through all of this and my children not having their father, I feel fortunate enough that I can work. I do have enough to feed my children. That's blessings from God. Quite honestly, normally in Ramadan, you basically spend your whole time in praying and reading and becoming closer to God. This Ramadan, I've only had the chance to open up the Quran once, and it's pretty pathetic because you're supposed to do it at least, a few times a day. And that is because I've had to give up who I was to become this new person that I don't want to be. And I don't have time to.
What's that new person you don't want to be?
Well, before I was a house, I was a homemaker. I was a mother to my children. I baked brownies for their snack days. I was very involved with their school and fundraising and everything that had to do with my children and my husband. Everything, my life basically rotated around that. Now I hold a full-time job. I'm a mother and a father. I'm a full-time, I'm working full-time trying to bring my husband's case to everyone's attention and trying to teach others and, what Islam is about, because aside from everything that goes on in my life, it's very important for people to realize that Islam is not the enemy. It is the people who take it and turn it around to do evil things. That's the enemy, not Islam. I don't think that you can see a murder in his face. I don't think that, I hope to God that he's not going to grow up to be somebody who he can be hated.
Don't I have to make a mention of my previous singing record or anything like that? No? All right. So, should I start it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to sing a song which actually reminds me my uncle. The theme of this song would be something like, well, I lost you. And I'm in a shock in a sense that I really don't know whether I lost how much, and I don't know what you have gained to went back to Pakistan. And so it's going to be something like this. And obviously it is in Urdu, not in English. So here are the few verses. तुमको देखा तो ये ख्याल आया, तुमको देखा तो ये ख्याल आया, जिंदगी धूप तुम घना साया, तुम चले जाओ के तो सोचेंगे हमने क्या खोया, हमने क्या पाया.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. My name is Mohammed Abu Shakir. The last name Abushaker. I'm from Gaza. This is Israel or Palestine. I don't know. I've been in America since 1994, October 1994.
Like this is good.
I came here after I lost everything in Gaza. I had 2 clothes factory there, and I had big store. But after about 5 or 6 years violence, intifada I mean, I lost everything because no work to Palestinian there. It was October 16, I'm just opening the door. It was 2 people. Actually, at that time, I'm just thinking about these people. They come to took me to INS office to give me the green card. I was very happy. I told them, how are you, brother? He said, okay, we are good. And when I was by the door, they put the cuff in my hand, put me in the car. You're under arrest. Nobody asked me, no fingerprints, no anything. And they put me about 3 days in the hall. After 3 days, they sent me some section there. And from that time to until October 22nd, nobody questioned me. زوجتي الحبيبة كريمة، ابنتي الغالية يسرى، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أرجو من الله أن تكونوا بخير وبصحة جيدة، وأن تأخذي بالك كويس من الابنة يسرى، لأني رأيت في منامي أنها تعبانة، فأرجو أن يكون خير. زوجتي الغالية كريمة، لا يوجد أحد أشكو له همي غير الله وأنتِ، ولا أدري هل أصبركم أم أصبر نفسي، فإن اليأس بدأ يدب في قلبي، وبدأت أشعر بأن رأسي توقف تماما، وأصبحت كالتائه الذي لا يعرف طريقه في وسط صحراء قاحلة أو بحر لا يرى حوله غير الأمواج. حاولي أن تجدي أي شخص يساعدك في مراسلة السفارات الأوروبية عبر الإنترنت، فلربما نجد دولة تقبلنا نحن الثلاثة كلاجئين أو مهاجرين. أنا تعبان جدا من الإضراب الأخير، وأشعر أن صحتي متدهورة فأمانة عليك إن حصل لي شيئا أن تأخذي بالك من يسرى وأن تخبري كل أولادي أنني أحبهم. آسف فقد قلت لك لا أجد أي أحد أشكو له همي فتحمليني. وختاما أتمنى من الله أن يديم عليكم الصحة. زوجك محمد.
And when did you write that?
Actually, I wrote many letters. I think this is last letter.
وبعدين هو يعني مش عامل أي شيء، واعترافات من الحكومة نفسها إن هو ما لهوش أي شيء. ليه هم عايزين يسفروه؟ وبعدين هو لو سافر، أنا مصرية وهو فلسطيني، أنا مش من حقي إن أنا أقدر أعيش في بلدي ومعايا بنتي أمريكانية ما لهاش حقوق في قلب مصر. ممكن بتقول لهم اللي أنا قلته محمد.
In a clear word, she can't live in Israel. If they deport me to Israel, Israel is not accept her. This is clear. And Egypt is not accept me. It's not allowed to me to live in Egypt. Only in one condition, if they put me in the jail there.
Since lives and liberties depend on clarity, not obfuscation, and upon reason, not hyperbole, let me take this opportunity to be clear. Each action taken by the Department of Justice, as well as the war crimes commissions considered by the President and the Department of Defense, is carefully drawn to target a narrow class of individuals, terrorists. Our legal powers are targeted at terrorists. Our investigation is focused on terrorists. Our prevention strategy targets the terrorist threat. We need honest, reasoned debate, not fear-mongering. To those who pit Americans against immigrants and citizens against non-citizens, to those who scare peace-loving people with phantoms of lost liberty, my message is this: your tactics only aid terrorists, for they erode our national unity and diminish our resolve. They give ammunition to America's enemies and pause to America's friends.
My name is Nabil Aish. I born in Palestine, Bethlehem. I'm a father of 4. One of them is Jordanian citizen. The other one is Palestinian citizen, and the other 2 is American citizen. And I have no citizen. They put me in a room, and an officer started reading paper that I'm a WT suspect. I didn't know what's WT, so, then I know it's World Trade Center, Strip, I said, no, I'm not gonna strip, So they strip me, they give me a pants and a shirt, then to the elevator. You can't see anything around because, officers on you, sticking you from this wall to the elevator, special baggage, I hear the speaker say special baggage from 1 to 9. And there they put me in a cell. It says, this cell, you're gonna stay the rest of your life in this cell. I said, there's something wrong, it can't be. My lawyer says that he knew where I am after 52 days of my arrest.
Were you in solitary confinement?
Yeah, for 100 days. Yeah, from I think September 14 or 15. Yeah, 100 days exactly. When they took me to general population, it was, because I'm counting, 100 days exactly. I was in hunger strike like 3-4 times. And how I feel, when you're in hunger strike, you never know when you're gonna die, So I wrote my will like 3-4 times. It's all the same, but, every time I say, look, this is gonna hurt my wife. She's gonna cry a lot. If something happened, let me change it that I die when I was happy, and And
did your hunger strikes have any effect?
No, just headaches, and that's it.
No, but I mean in terms of changing any of your...
Yeah, but the most thing was first, I want the phone call, and after 3-4 days of hunger strike, they bring the phone, but it's always, the phone is busy, you call in pizza shop, you know, and it never go through, you know, just stories. And the only time that went through that to say, my home phone has been disconnected, okay? And, you know, that's the only time in the 100 days. And one time, a hunger strike about the food that was too small. It wasn't small, but because I used to smoke 2 bags of cigarettes, you know, when they force you to quit cigarettes, you eat more. And I was asking for extra food, or, you know, small food I don't want. Or you give me extra food, or I don't want to eat. It was stupid, but so they sent me Egyptian guy from the kitchen saying, look, the budget, and he just put me in circle, like the budget, I'm gonna destroy the budget of the jail, you know. So I said, look, you know, let me lose some weight, and that's it. There is a window smaller than this window, okay. This small window, okay, and there is the bed. So, because I don't have glasses, without the glasses I can't see anything. I see all white outside. So when I sit at the window at nighttime just to see the lights in the water, and you know, after like 80 days they came and painted the windows, okay, so we can't look outside. And sometimes they bring somebody with me in the cell, you know, like they bring one from Pakistan. Before I didn't know anything about Pakistan. I swear, I didn't know that Pakistan is like 99% is Muslim country. You know, that like I tell them, look, we're gonna live together here and we're gonna talk. I tell you the history about Palestine, Israel, and you tell me the history about Pakistan, you know. And they're not like that good in English, you know, you're gonna pick up the words from them, you know. Sometimes you get somebody that's funny, sometimes you get disappointed, the guy is not good, he's angry, he's crying all the time, you know. You need somebody to make you strong, and he's crying 24 hours, you gotta make him strong, and you can't. Why they release me? Actually, I don't know why they released me, but I think the Israelis won't accept me, because I got arrested here, and the Jordanian, you see their answer, and you know, Egypt is not my country, Libya is not my country, I don't want to be there, okay? And you know, I feel this is my country, you know. I spent 5 years of my life in this country, you know. I stayed, my family got deported 2 years ago, and I stayed hoping that I could bring them back from, you know, from nowhere. There is no base to stand on that I'm gonna bring them someday, you know. It's just a hope, you know, to get better job, work more, you know. I used to work 8 hours when my family used to be here. Then after they left, I worked 16, 15 hours just, you know, to make money, to hire better lawyer, to bring them. The word freedom was expensive for me. I don't want my kids to grow up in a country that people get killed every day, kids watching blood, kids watching people get killed, you know, people blowing up themselves. So I decided to change that country. And when I came here, you know, I wasn't gonna leave. You know, I put in my mind, I'm not leaving this country. And it wasn't big deal, like, you know, the INS things, I don't know the rules, you know. I hear people come to the United States and they never left the United States. So that means, you know, everybody is free. I don't think they're all citizens and they all make papers and, you know. So anyway, I hired a lawyer to, you know, he says, look, if you're not married, if you're not gonna ask for asylum, you know, you just could live, you know, they're not gonna ask you. You know, there's millions of people like this. So, you know, I put in my mind, I'm not leaving, so why to ask for anything, you know? If I ask for asylum and they refuse the asylum, they're gonna deport you, you know? So I'm not gonna tell them anything. So I put my kids in the schools, you know, and you know, I started my life as, you know, American without papers, you know, just live here, you know, go to work, back, you know, to my home and my family, and, you know, and I wasn't lucky, you know. There's people in the street, they still live without papers, you know. I got caught, you know, so I shouldn't cry. It's the first thing is my fault. I used to sit on the floor, you know, there is the bed, and I used just to sit on the floor and, you know, just on this way. Like I said, for 3 hours, 4 hours, just like this. And my mind is not in the room, is not in the jail, you know, like outside, you know. Like, you know, imagine my kids playing in front of me and, you know, asking me for things. You know, when the most you know, thing that I used to remember when I took my family to the airport and they went in the gate inside, and, you know, I was crying, and my son ran, you know, all the way from inside, came outside, and he says, I'm not leaving. And they brought the small car that they take, you know, the kids inside. So they take him, and I hear his voice until this minute, how he used to scream that he's not going. And, you know, my wife used to tell him, we coming back, we coming back. And when I call him now, they're still asking me, did you make your papers? Because, you know, when they left, I said, I'm gonna make some papers and I'm gonna bring you back. And they still asking me, did you make your papers? I said, soon, you know. And my Muawiyah was the second son. He used to say, you know, he wants to be a cop, you know, because the cop, when he go to school, they used to take him, put him in the car, and, you know, pictures and all that with the cop. So I put in his mind he's gonna be a cop. So when he asked me who put you in jail, I said, a cop. He says, I don't want to be a cop, you know. I said, no, I want you to be a cop. He's not the American citizen, by the way. He will never be a cop.
أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله.
What is he now?
He's out. What happened to him?